In South Africa, millions of wage workers still rely on paper timesheets, manual payrolls, and opaque systems that can be frustrating for both employers and employees. My guest today saw that gap and built a solution. Alongside two fellow engineers, he launched a company called Agrigistics. Growing demand soon pushed the business beyond its agricultural roots, leading to a rebrand. And today it's known as Allwage. And joining me in the studio is co-founder Cilliers Geldenhuys. Hi, Cilliers. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Well, can you start by taking us back to the beginning? So what problem did you and your fellow engineers set out to solve when you started Agrigistics?
So we actually started before that in the mining industry, monitoring machine operations and production and productivity. And that moved into the agricultural sector, where we monitored employee productivity. So that was the main starting point. We wanted to know how many crates employees harvest, how many they pack, and just to be able to incentivize them better. And from there on, we moved into the employee space where we are now with Allwage in the employee management ecosystem.
So when demand began coming from outside agriculture, was that the main driver to rebrand Allwage?
Yes. Yeah. So we started selling, so agri is still our main channel, but we started selling a lot to construction industries, to mining as well, and to manufacturing. And the name just didn't make sense for them. And we had to basically rebrand to serve any intensive, wage company, that has wage employees in South Africa. Yeah.
So what does your platform offer?
So, like I said earlier, we are employee management ecosystem. It's based on four main legs, if I can call it that. The first one's time and attendance. The second one's payroll. The third one is document management. And the fourth one is employee communications. So we help these companies to manage their employees digitally and accurately. So there are a lot of anomalies, especially managing wage earners. And that's where we are different, and that's where we add value. Flat integrations between separate systems just doesn't cut it for these wage companies with all these anomalies.
The WhatsApp integration is unusual for a payroll system. So why did you choose that route?
So WhatsApp recently made it quite easy to integrate different products into WhatsApp, and that just made sense because all these employees have WhatsApp, and to reach them with communications, to show them the hours they've worked, to show them their leave, to show them the pay slips, and they can also apply for leave, stuff like that, just made sense to make the work less for the admin from the employer, and to just streamline the process. Sometimes these people sit in remote areas, remote locations. You can't reach them. You have a lot of smaller sites sometimes under these employers, and then WhatsApp makes sense to reach the employees.
South Africa's labor laws are notoriously complex. So how do you simplify compliance for businesses without, large HR departments?
So the compliance factors basically stay the same through all payroll companies. You just have to stay compliant with all these rules. We recruited specialists in these areas, and they helped us and guide the product team to stay compliant and to know what changes we have to make if there are new laws that come into play. But yeah, basically all payroll companies walk in line with these rules. That's one of the compliance features everyone offers. I won't say that is where we add more value than other payroll companies, but we add more value if you step into that ecosystem, and it's just easier to manage a contract, for example, on the document management side of employee digitally, and you don't have to print it out, take it to site, get it signed or get it updated, bring it back to the office. That's more where I would say we help with the compliance side. But not physically in the normal laws of payroll.
Well, you've expanded beyond agriculture. Where do you see Allwage going next?
So I would say definitely winning in these pockets in South Africa, like winning the construction industry, for example, winning agri industry. Nobody's physically has been the winner since to date, and then from there target every wage employee company or companies that employ wage earners in Africa as well, and other third world countries. So we focus on third world countries where there are a lot of wage earners and where there's a lot of anomalies because you have these masses of staff.
So you're not only in South Africa, you're also in Africa.
No, so currently we in South Africa mainly. We have a few clients in Namibia and Mozambique, but we haven't expanded globally. That would just be the next step for us going forward.
Tell us a bit more about the founders. Who are you guys? I said in the beginning you are all engineers.
Yes, yeah. So I'm an industrial engineer. We used to study together at Tux, and Luke and Johan, the co-founders, are computer engineers. We were in the same race as well, and that's where we met. We had a few subjects together, and then we just kept contact after university, started working on projects in the mining industry, and then we just wanted to challenge ourselves and see if we can build something for ourselves and just make a difference. And I think that's where it basically started for us as well, to build our own team.
And what is the feedback you get from both the employees and employers about your platform?
So the employees, from day one, we were focused on adding value for the employers. Just recently, we started adding value for the employees. So I'm very excited about this chapter that we can add value for employers and employees. The feedback we get is employees, they want to also be monitored accurately and get wages fairly and be treated fairly. So 98% of the workforce, they're usually happy. The people that are unhappy are usually the ones that want to skip the line, the ones that you don't want in the organization. So that fits as well. And the employers, if we add value, they're always happy.
Well, in South Africa, you read about the issues of ghost workers. And of course, there could always be the disputes about hours. So how do you bring transparency and trust into wage-heavy industries?
So what we'd like to do is we ask the clients before they sign up, what problems obviously do you have regarding ghost workers and accurate hours and overtime. And then once we've implemented the system, we will go back to those questions. We will ask them, so you had ghost workers before, do you see any problems going forward? And for us, obviously that answer has to be no. And we also give them explain like examples beforehand. We are open that they share contact details with our current clients. They can chat with them. They can also find out from our current clients what they've experienced. But usually that helps a lot to go back to those questions once we've implemented the system, just to see what the actual change was. And then from there on, they also know that there are no ghost workers, there are accurate hours, and we add checks into the system for those problems, and we usually run it through with them to say this is the reason why you can't have ghost workers, because you need facial scanning, and we show them examples where you can't scan somebody that's not on the system, for example.
So what does your ideal client look like?
So we focus on clients ranging usually from 25 wage earners on a year average to about 2,000 at the moment. There is no upper limit, but that's mainly where we are focused. And it's just because those are the companies we feel like are overlooked. You get a lot of expensive systems for enterprise clients with a lot of different integrations. It's not usually on one platform, and that's also where we are different. So we can serve the small, medium, and large clients, but we are very focused on small to medium at the moment. We just want to be sure nobody overlooks those employers as well, because it's one employee or 1,000 employers that does make a difference for where we want to add value.
So where do you see yourself in the next 2 or 5 years?
For the product, it's currently expanding fast. We have this employee management ecosystem. And I said earlier, document management is one of the legs. That's the tip of the iceberg for HR. So we wanted to develop a HRIS entire feature system there as well. So document management at the moment is just managing documents like contracts for these employees, warnings with reminders, health and safety documents linked to employee. We want to get to the stage where people can sign up their contracts digitally as well, and any documentation they need to access the area. The system can check before they actually enter the area and show them what they still need and training and compliance. So there's a massive leg that we want to go into there. And also eventually in the finance space for these employees. These employees still loan a lot of money, and they get bombarded with loan sharks and expensive rates. And we would also like to solve that problem on the employee side in the near future.
Can we look at the business? So where do you have funding from outside? How are you financing it?
So we started with our own free time, and then eventually we met a few angel investors that started with us a while ago. So we got very small funding, but we got a lot of expertise from them. So they guided us through the startup phase and even today weekly as well. But currently the business is profitable and we haven't raised any massive rounds as to yet.
Can you give us an example of one of your clients and how you help them?
So I can take a company in the construction industry as an example. They would usually have a paper system or a time and attendance system that doesn't integrate fully with their payroll system and the HR side, and it's very flat. So firstly, they can't validate the hours. They don't know if the overtime's correct. They have 10 sites. So what we then tell them is, let's take it all to one system, remove all the paperwork. We add clocking methods per site. So if you have 3 people on a site, we will add WhatsApp clocking there or an app, so you don't have to buy hardware. But if you have a site with 20 people, then we can add hardware as well, because it just moves faster. It makes sense to buy it. So we then firstly solve the time and attendance issue with getting accurate hours, making sure there's no ghost workers. And then we move over to payroll, implement the payroll from all the sites to head office. Once that's solved, then we move to the document management and the employee communications. After that's fully implemented, we will look at which sections they still use paper for employee management, and that will be like feedback for us as well to understand what would be the next feature to add on. We usually like to go where the main problem is. So we don't do custom development per client. We will focus on what the main problem is in that section.
Do you have numbers of how many employees you're helping at the moment with this payment system?
I haven't looked recently, but I would guess it's around 40 to 50,000 employees on the system at the moment, and that's mainly South African, yes.
And you want to expand that?
Yes, yeah, sure. So we would love to expand it. I would say that the plans that we have at the moment is to double that possibly next year and reach the 100,000 mark. But it is very important for us to be the main contender for a market, to own more than 50% of, let's say, the construction industry for wage earners as the employee management platform. Once we've done that, then we would look at other industries or other countries. That's why that number is not so significant for us. It's more about how many employers is in that industry. Let's say there are 10,000 construction companies that have wage earners. We want to obviously win then just over 5,000 of that industry.
Well, Cilliers Geldenhuys, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thanks a lot.